I'm sure most of you in here have had some sort of experience with a child, whether you're a parent or not. I'm sure you have a niece, a nephew, or a friend with a child, but at some point in time you've probably had to give or enforce a timeout for behavior that was undesired, or you've given a treat to a child for behavior that you wanted to reward. You didn't know it, but you were doing what's called operant conditioning, and that was a term that was coined by psychologist B.F. Skinner. And so I have been interested in psychology ever since I took my first psychology course in high school, Intro to Psych, and here at OSU-OKC I have taken every single sociology and psychology course that they offer, and once I became a mom, my interest in child psychology became even more so. So today I want to tell you a little bit about B.F. Skinner and some of the contributions he made towards psychology and education, and I'll give you a little bit of information about his background as well. The biography.com website states that Burrus Frederick Skinner, commonly known as B.F. Skinner, was born in a small town in Pennsylvania on March 20th, 1904. He was an inventor from an early age. He and his brother had a door-to-door business selling elderberries, and he created a flotation device that separated the ripened berries from the unripened berries. This was to be able to efficiently sort the berries and be able to sell quicker. And he graduated from Hamilton University in 1926 as a writer, but he was very unsuccessful in this area. So a couple of years later, he went to Harvard and started studying psychology. After he graduated, he stayed on at Harvard with a professorship, and his major work at Harvard focused on the ideas of human behavior, and this is where he coined the term operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is the idea that human behavior which is reinforced will be repeated, but human behavior that is punished or ignored will just disappear. So to support his theory of operant conditioning, he created a Skinner box, which some of you might have heard in your intro psych class, but this was just a basic clear box that he could watch, like a rat or a pigeon would go in there, and there was a lever that when hit, a pellet of food would come out. And this reinforced behavior, and over time he saw that the rat and pigeon were repeatedly hitting the lever. So this, again, was operant conditioning. He took his theory of operant conditioning to the classroom when, according to bfskinner.org, he attended his youngest child's math class in 1953. What he saw went against what psychologists know about the learning process, which was the behavior in learning is quicker when it's reinforced immediately. Instead, the children were given worksheets with problems on there. They solved them, they turned to the teacher, but they didn't get their feedback until the next day or a few days later. This slowed down the process of learning. And so Skinner wanted to come up with a way to give the children reinforcement quicker and enhance the learning. So he created the teaching machine. This was a program that broke down the material into smaller steps. And it also had a lever, so the child would be given the problem, and they would hit the lever, and if it was right, they would get the feedback and the reinforcement by being able to move on to the next step and the next problem, which was difficulty, or more difficult, sorry, that's confusing, more difficult. But if they could not answer the problem correctly, then they would just stay at that level and given more instruction by the teacher or the program until they could advance. You will find that today our children use the same sort of programs. My son uses one that's called iExcel in his math class, and it's a website that he logs onto, and it works just like the teaching machine Skinner had, where he is given a lesson and he has to answer this problem. If he doesn't, it gives him the ways to solve it, and he just stays at that level until he solves it and moves on, and then complete the lesson. So according to the U.S. Department of Education, this type of learning, which is called competency-based learning, is the better to the student engagement because the content is relevant to each student and tailored to their unique needs. Skinner continued to make contributions to the world of psychology and was active in the American Psychology Association until the day he died on August 18, 1990. So that's it. Today I shared with you how he impacted psychology and education, and although B.F. Skinner might not be as famous as Sigmund Freud, I do think that he forever changed the way we study and understand human behavior, and that he deserves our acknowledgement.